Smell us now, lady.
Welcome to MeatEater Trivia.
MeatEater Podcast.
Tell me when to start, Phil.
Okay, 3, 2, go.
Welcome to MeatEater Radio Live. It's 11 a.m. Mountain Time on Thursday, March 27th, and we're live from MeatEater headquarters in Bozeman, Montana. I'm your host, Janis Putelis, and I'm joined today by Dr. Randall Williams and Brody Henderson, and we're celebrating Turkey Week. I love these birds so much, I was pushing for Turkey Month. But all the bear hunters here at MeatEater, like Randall and Corey here, thought that a week was enough, citing that they don't even have a bear day yet here at MeatEater. Maybe we need to run that up the chain and see if next week we can get bear day or bear week. On today's episode, I'll recap my recent Texas turkey hunt with Jesse Griffiths, converse with Dr. Phil Lavretsky about his new turkey DNA study, touch base with Kyle Lybarger, one of my favorite dudes on the internet, about prairie habitat for turkeys, check in with my logger Wyatt Seep in Wisconsin to see how logging my place is improving turkey habitat, and finally, we'll rate the top submissions from our turkey photo contest and pick a winner to receive a first light tree line turkey vest, Phelps game calls, and a Moultrie Edge 2 cell cam. It's an action-packed episode, folks. We're going to be ripping and running here. Couple things right off the top, though. Texas turkey recap. Honestly, the turkey hunting was just so-so. Mega drought in Texas right now. It was barely greened up down there. They were flocked up, hammering hard on the roost, landing, nothing. I got lucky because the first morning Jesse was like, hey, if it doesn't happen right off the roost, they like to come through this little zone. I shot one here last year. It might be a good idea to set up there. So, of course, once it didn't happen off the roost, Max and I went, did a little loop around, set up, and like 30 minutes later, here comes the flock. What was way cool was hanging out with Jesse Griffiths and his buddy Eli Cairo, who owns Olympia Provisions. Some of the best sausage, cured meat, production that I've ever had. Incredible stuff. So and he sells in Whole Foods. So if you're in Whole Foods, look up Olympia Provisions. You won't be disappointed. But a couple things that I learned from my little trip down there. One, and I think, which hot tip are we doing? We doing turkey tender hot tip, or are we doing the one around biscuits?
Well, we better make that a decision here pretty quick.
Well, no, it's too late for that.
Phil
We're doing biscuits. We're doing biscuits.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Phil.
So Jesse's got a great hot tip about how to make biscuits easier. But what I learned, and it has changed my biscuit game. Since I've been home now for a week from that trip, I think I've made biscuits 3 times.
My goodness.
Yes. I now fold my biscuit dough about a dozen times.
Oh, yeah.
And I used to always think that would like sort of overwork it and it would just be too dense. But what you're doing is you end up making these layers every time you fold it, kind of smash it out, fold it.
Yeah, it's like the Pillsbury ones with the layer.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, when you make it.
What I like to do with my biscuit dough is I pop the can, then I just flop out the little hockey pucks.
I'm kicking you out for that one. Anyways, amazing food, great sausage from Olympia Provisions, and I learned a lot about cooking, and we'll get to more about that when we do Jesse's hot tip. But we have a little bit of a spring dilemma to discuss. And I know, and we have people here in the room that sit on both sides of this discussion. Bears or turkeys? Randall, where do you sit?
Bear man.
Why is that? You grew up in the Midwest. You grew up in turkey country.
There's a sense of adventure and freedom with getting out in the mountains in the springtime. Mm-hmm. I like to hike. I like to glass. I like to shoot things with rifles, preferably across canyons. So bear hunting really speaks to me. I also just enjoy watching bears. It's been a couple years since I've killed one. And just watching a bear do bear stuff on a mountain see them roll over logs and negotiate terrain and stuff like that. It's just endlessly fascinating to me. So that's my case.
All right, Brody.
Turkeys, 100%.
You killed a spring bear?
Nope.
You're a fall bear guy.
You get that fat in the fall.
Yeah, I hear you. But you can get some fatty bears in the spring too.
Yeah. And I think if I had like a go-to turkey spot and I picked up the basics, I think I'd take to turkey hunting quite well.
Okay, well, aren't you attempting to get your first turkey this spring?
Yeah, I mean, probably make a day of it. I don't know how committed I am, but...
Okay, well, I'm going to help you get committed right now.
Oh,
I brought with me a MeatEater Phelps 3-pack. I believe I saw one of these available at Bob Ward's the other day, so I imagine you can still get them at Shields too. But it's the 3-pack. It's got the Latvian Eagle Call in it. It's got Steve's Jake Break, and then the other one is called the Loud and Clear, I believe. I'm going to give you one. I would choose either Steve's Jake Break or the Loud and Clear. Don't go with the Latvian Eagle. That's a little bit more of an advanced call. It's just that it's a little bit harder to call because the latex is a little bit thicker.
Here's the Loud and Clear.
Okay. And so I love the Latvian Eagle is still my favorite call. That's why I made it and put it in here.
I thought you were going to put that in the wrong way for a second.
Oh, no, I'm not that.
Lasts longer. Now, okay, I'm trying to give you the fastest ever turkey call lesson here ever. You played football.
Yes.
Well, I don't know. Did you play quarterback? No. Okay, but you heard the quarterback often say hut, right? So we're going to say the same thing right now. Just do it without the call. Hut.
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 You feel how like you push the air out of your diaphragm and then your tongue stops the end of the word hut. Okay?
Hut.
Now you're just going to put this diaphragm into the roof of your mouth and say the same exact thing.
Hut. Huh?
But you got to push the air from your diaphragm across it. Come on, you're messing with me now.
Oh, my God.
Have you used an elk call? Like you never used a...
Rifles, man.
Okay,
I love rifles.
This thing is pressed up in the roof of your mouth, correct?
With my talkin.
Don't choke. Don't gag. This is a thing that happens with folk learning to use diaphragms for sure. It's uncomfortable and it can get a little gaggy. Take it out and talk. Oh yeah, take the Zin out. Take the second Zin out. That might help. Goodness, Randall.
They should make a mouth call with like Zin.
I didn't think we were actually doing this. I wasn't prepared.
Sure. Oh, good. I wanted it to be a surprise.
Press it up against the roof of my mouth.
Yeah, and just let it sit there, and then you're
Should I
gonna
have
go,
my tongue on it?
Hut.
Should I have my tongue on it?
Not before at the end. At the end of the hut, your tongue will stick to the top of it. Okay, so
Phil, what do we have
failing.
on our schedule for today?
I'm failing. I'm not good at teaching people how to turkey call in a limited amount of time.
Here you go, Randall.
Let's move on.
That's what you need.
Good job, Randall. There you go. Okay, you're doing that one wrong too.
Yeah.
I would actually say for all beginners, go with the slate. It's hard to mess up a slate pot call like Brody's got there.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's talk to Dr. Phil Lavretsky about his new wild turkey research. Phil, you there?
I'm here.
All right.
I was just laughing at that whole scenario. That was good.
Yeah, well, it's meant to be funny. So
Makes two of us.
I'm glad it was entertaining for you. We got Phil here. You might remember Phil from MeatEater Podcast episode 490, which was titled Duck DNA, Are Wild Ducks Really Wild? Well, now we're going to find out if wild turkeys are really wild. Wild Turkey DNA, which is the title of Phil's project, is the first citizen science project for turkeys ever attempted. It's a joint effort between Phil's lab at the University of Texas at El Paso, Dr. Michael Chamberlain's Wild Turkey Lab at the University of Georgia, Ducks Unlimited, NWTF, and others. So, Phil, welcome to the show. Quickly remind us, remember, we're on a tight schedule here, so you got to be succinct. What was duck DNA all about? And tell me, like, the most interesting thing that you've learned from doing that project.
The most interesting. So this is just going to be about like 40 minutes long. Yeah, so Duck DNA was this combination between Ducks Unlimited and myself, thinking about how can we monitor the genetic integrity of mallards and other waterfowl and sort of build one of the largest genetic repositories for a group of species. And that's sort of where Duck DNA was born out of. And where we are in our second year, we just finished up. Just to give you a bit of a highlight, we went with 700 kits this year as compared to 300 kits, still 4,000 plus people applied and over 2,000 samples analyzed just this year. We're getting over 2,000 to 3,000, close to 3,000 with the 2 years of data. It's pretty remarkable.
That's awesome. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's been hugely successful. The hunters love it. You know, the biggest thing is that it's a direct communication with hunters, and they're learning more and more about the bird that they have. And you know, every time they post something, people can like pretend to think that they know what they are, and then they come in and say, "Aha, this is what it is." It's a lot of fun.
All right. So what's the like the top thing? What is the most interesting aha thing that's come from this research?
Actually, one of the things is the monitoring of this whole game farm mallard issue with wild mallards and across the board and understanding that. But two other things were super interesting. We now know that brewer's duck, mallard gadwall go both ways. So the male could be a gadwall, the female could, or the male could be a gadwall, the male could be a mallard. Pintail, same thing. But the other cool thing is we started finding second-year hybrids, meaning those hybrids are obviously fertile and making more kids out there. And so we're starting to learn some of the things that is very difficult to do so as a single individual in a lifetime. Let alone through plumage alone, because they start looking like that parent as they backcross more and more. One of the cool things, I think we posted on this, I hope I'm not jumping the gun, but we got a true 3-species hybrid of all the blue wings. So it was a cinnamon blue wing hybrid that bred with a northern shoveler to make a hybrid that this guy harvested in the San Francisco, Sacramento area of California. That was super cool. Didn't see that coming.
Wow. No, I wouldn't have either. All right. So now you're wanting to do this for turkeys. What are you hoping to learn with doing wild turkey DNA?
Yeah, we're just expanding on the edible bird consortium, so to speak. So moving into turkeys, I have to tell this short story. I got a call by Mike Chamberlain on Super Bowl Sunday, and he was like, "Hey, man, there's all these weird heritage birds and things that look kind of weird. Is there any way we could figure out whether they're just domestic birds that people are harvesting, maybe hybrids, maybe they are just wild birds that have super weird plumage?" And that is where wild turkey DNA was born. I was like, that's an interesting question. Very similar to what we're asking on duck DNA. And we've set up everything, DNA's DNA. So, whatever, 5-6 weeks later, the partnership between Ducks Unlimited, NWTF, Mike, me, and as well as Low Country Game Bird Foundation made it happen for this year. So this is our pilot year. We'll see how it goes. But the initial ask is if anybody shoots or harvests a super weird looking or cool looking bird, to just go ahead and get in contact with us through the wildturkeydna.com website. We'll send you a kit. You'll just cut off the tip of the tongue, just like we are doing with duck DNA. Send it to us, and we'll start to analyze these turkeys. In the long term, we're hoping to go across all the subspecies, understanding not only hybridization and whether domestic birds, these heritage birds, are a problem for other species, the Rios, the Miriams, and so forth, but also whether genetic diversity might be an explanation of declining populations. We already have preliminary data for Easterns in South Carolina, Georgia, New York, and others that large segments of that population are very much looking like second cousins, even half siblings. And that's a real problem when it comes to wildlife. If you don't know, the Florida panther was essentially half sib, full sib, and that was when we started seeing real genetic problems there. And turkeys are trending towards that way, and that's a real problem if that's the case.
And so that's happening because the population, it's almost like a double whammy because the population is getting smaller, and thus you have just less diversity in that smaller population. Is that the origin?
That's the origin. So if especially for Easterns, if anybody knows the history, most of those Easterns originate from mountains of PA where they were like remnants, and then they were basically spread out. So they already went through a bottleneck, and then effectively all these birds have smaller and smaller home ranges. They don't necessarily like to cross streets, highways. They stay within, and the longer those birds are the more the connections are severed, the worse they become genetically, because the probability of dad mating with their kid increases and increases and increases. Plus their lecking system, where in essence a few males contribute every year. So if it's the same brothers constantly with their sisters, it's a problem, right? So those are some of the questions. Habitat is always number one key, but if you've got a bird that is, starting to have issues in nesting and fecundity, how many eggs actually hatch, then that is a compounding effect.
Right. Oh, man, I was hoping for some good news out of you, Phil.
Well,
but
I
man.
got a question if there could be some good news in places where there's multiple subspecies of turkeys that are mingling. Like,
yeah,
in Nebraska, you don't know what you're getting in places, right?
That's a great question. So one of the things that I've always been curious about, because I've known about the history of stocking, right? Even in Washington, they went and just like Washington, the Sierra Nevadas of California, they basically were like, I don't know what's going to take here, so let's just throw a Miriam, Rio, and Eastern in all these places and see what happens, kind of thing. So it would be really cool to get some birds out of those areas to see like exactly what happened. Did one of them actually take, or are they just like a hodgepodge of these three subspecies? The other cool thing will be to go after places that are core habitats known for Rios and Miriams, Goulds, Easterns, Osceolas is included, but the only one not oscillated. So we'll go for all the North American ones, is to understand, what does that genetic diversity look like versus, populations of Miriams on the Sky Islands of New Mexico, or the Rios that are in all these little pockets like you probably saw in Texas. So that'll be something really cool. On top of it all is just understanding something that I was not keen on until Mike Chamberlain sort of opened my eyes to it, is the number of what is known as a heritage bird. Just so everybody knows, a domestic bird is your white bird at Costco. A heritage bird is a mix of that domestic with a wild at some point, creating a weird looking bird. And so apparently people are putting out these heritage birds to become feral or feralized for one reason or another. And so now the question becomes, how widespread is that? Like people, harvesting cool looking birds, are they just all just weird heritage birds, or are they hybrids, or are they just wild birds with those cool plumages? We'll start to answer those kinds of questions.
All right, Phil, tell everybody how they can participate one more time before you go.
Yeah. So please go to the brand new website, wildturkeydna.com. You can also watch us on Instagram at wildturkeydna or at Lavretsky Lab. You can, if you harvest something, go ahead and contact through those means, and you'll be able to get a free kit. That's what I wanted to also mention. Anybody that gets selected, everything's completely free. We'll send it to you. You'll send it back to us, and that's a product of both National Wildlife Turkey Federation as well as others that have contributed donations to make this free for the hunters. So I hope the turkey hunters out there are going to get just as excited as the duck hunters for the duck DNA project that we were doing.
Oh, I can guarantee it, 100%. Randall gets his first bird. It's going
I'll put that thing in.
It doesn't matter what kind of color.
We're going to snip that thing right
pure
out.
white, Randall. It's going to be pure white.
Oh man, I'm taking my daughter out for her first turkey hunt this year, and I'm definitely hopefully she gets one, and that thing's going in no matter what it looks like.
Thanks again, Phil. Ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Phil Lavretsky. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Phil.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy. See ya.
Thanks, Phil. All right, Phil. The other Phil. Hey.
Yeah, I was getting confused there.
It can be tricky.
Yep.
It's time for listener feedback. We have any at this point in time?
We've got a few. Just a reminder to everyone, go ahead and get those questions into the live chat. Our first question, though, is from Andrew. He says, what are good points to bring up in a persuasive speech on reintroducing bison to Colorado? This is for school.
Man, instead of going AI, he figured he'll just write into
Good
MeatEater
man.
Radio
Instead of
Live.
artificial intelligence, he'll go with
I'm going to pass this one.
half-baked
I'm going to pass
intelligence.
this one off to Randall.
Sure. It's a tough one. I think you could point out that bison are native and
Good for the land.
good for the land.
I'd tell him to go read some stuff on APR's website.
That's a great point, Brody. Yeah.
American Prairie Reserve.
I mean, it's
Check it
tough
out.
because they're not really reintroduced anywhere as like a wild species. If you're talking about like a APR style model, I would go to APR and read about their program. Plus, it's good for bison. The more populations we have, the more genetic diversity we have.
You will run into some pushback on that issue. I'll just let you know.
Yep. But it's an excellent topic.
I'm guessing he has he's been asked to write a persuasive speech, and he just happens to be choosing this topic.
Yeah.
So it'll be good practice for him. What else we got, Phil?
Joe asks, Janis, are you running/training for any races in the near future?
Oh, buddy, we don't have enough time to talk about this today. We need a separate.
Janis, you keep going on about how we don't have any time, but I have yet to see any evidence to that. I think we've got all the time in the world.
Oh, good. Well, listen, we just have a all company meeting, and I want this to end in time so that I can get
Pizza?
some pizza in my belly
thought we were
before
getting
that
pizza
meeting.
today.
Are you buying?
We're all gonna go get pizza, of course.
Okay, can I join?
I literally, when I drove into the office today, I opened up my calendar and I looked at the timing of the meeting, and I was like,
Oh, yeah.
we're going to go get pizza.
Yeah, we'll be getting pizza
Perfect.
at the Bozeman Market and Deli. If you pass through town or if you're a resident here, go check them out. Great sandwiches, and I love their pizza.
Let's refocus on the running thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Tip number one, pizza for lunch.
Pizza, AK running fuel.
Yeah.
Hey, when I ran my 50-miler last year, I ate a slice of pizza halfway through, and it definitely helped me to the finish line. Joe, yes, I am training. I've signed up for the Crazy Mountain 100 this year, and so my knees are a little bit sore. I've been getting after it. Did some intervals yesterday. 5 minutes uphill as hard as I could go, then 5 minutes chill downhill, and did that 8 times in a row. I was tired afterwards. That's at the end of July. So I'm feeling like I'm in a really good spot at the moment, and I've still got, 3 or 4 months to kind of keep building on it. Coach says, I have a coach. I have a logger. I have a coach. I got a sound engineer. It's great.
Heavy lies the crown.
But she says I could do it right now. She said it would hurt a little bit, but she said I could pull it off right now.
What's your goal?
My goal is 30 hours.
30 hours.
Yeah, I haven't said this publicly yet. Might as well do it now. Cam Haynes ran it the inaugural year of this race, which was 4 years ago, I believe. He ran it in about 34 hours. The course was slightly different, so I'm giving him an hour for that. We're going to be roughly the same age. He might be a little bit older.
So adjusted for the course change, you're trying to beat Cam Haynes by 3 hours.
I'm trying to beat Cam Haynes' time.
Seems reasonable.
If I can do it in 30 hours, I'll solidly do that. That's my goal is 30 hours.
If I'm around that weekend, I'll be packing in a pizza for you.
Yeah, buddy. That's what I'm talking about. There's some great spots to spectate that race in the Crazy Mountains. So, all right. Are we got time for one more, Phil?
Yeah,
Or do we
let's
need to
get
move
one
on to
more here,
Kyle?
Phil. Got a good one.
Janis, this is probably the fastest we've ever gotten to listener feedback. So,
Don't we have multiple listener feedback sections?
We've got one more at the end, but
Okay.
I mean, we've got time.
That's
I know you want
multiple.
pizza, but the audience deserves a show.
No, listen, I know, but I feel like the pressure to keep this show moving along. That's all I hear.
You're
about.
doing a great job. I'll let you know if it starts to drag. We've got a lot of these questions.
Spencer hasn't commented yet.
That's
so
true.
okay.
That's when you know. We've had a lot. This is again a blanket question that it could go on forever. But for some pros, if you had some tips for Randall's in the room. Maybe Randall's got some questions. We've got a lot of questions about first-time turkey hunters. Kanye Northeastern, interesting name, is asking specifically about Merriam's, but we've had several questions about just this first-time turkey hunters in general. Like maybe don't overload them with info, but any sort of like first-time tips.
What do you got?
Well, I already gave one. I would say if you're just starting out with the calling business, get yourself a pot call, a slate. Mind you, I feel like they are the simplest to use. That's what I started my wife on, like the second time she walked into the woods with one.
Make a lot of different noises with them.
Yeah, she had a conversation with the gobbler the first time she tried it, maybe second time. Other hot tips for beginners, like with any game, do the homework and find the game first before you go out there and hunting. I think it's real easy just to walk into the woods and start squawking on a box call and not be anywhere near a turkey.
Yeah, and one I would say that I still have trouble with is the old adage that you kill turkeys with your ass, not your feet. Patience.
100%.
Now, granted, he was asking about Merriam's, and sometimes you got to cover ground hunting those, but
sure,
sit down and call, and if you get an answer, sit there for as long as you can, because sometimes it takes them a long time to come in.
100%. Yeah, that's a good tip, man. Your butt can kill probably more turkeys than your legs can. We all love to run and gun and call them all in, but that's how I killed my bird this year, was by just sitting down and waiting. And sometimes you got to do that. Depends on what's more important to you. The entertainment factor of calling and seeing the show, meaning when they're strutting, gobbling, and all that, or do you just want 2 lobes of a breast, 2 thighs, 2 legs,
just bushwhack them,
2 wings? Yeah.
You know something that's paid off for me that I think we learned from Mike Chamberlain is he told us, I shouldn't even tell people this. He told us that if you have a gobbler or gobblers on the roost in the morning, they fly down, you don't kill them. They go the wrong way like they always do.
Yeah.
He told us that those birds will almost always come back to that roost area late morning, early afternoon.
Yeah.
Which has gotten me a bird or 2.
Oh, for sure. We saw it in Texas. Max and I we got onto a bird that was gobbling hard at 2 in the afternoon. He was probably 200-300 yards from the roost tree, but he had found a strut zone, or that was his strut zone. He was in this nice little cove on the river, it's all green, and he's in there just hammering. And we got to within 100 yards of him, and we couldn't break him. But when he decided to move, he basically went and did the same thing within 100 yards of the roost tree.
Right.
He was going to spend the rest of the day sitting there gobbling at the roost tree, being like, "Hey, ladies, come back here, roost with me tonight." So yeah, and again, that's another way that your butt would kill them, is just by sitting at that roost tree. I can keep going.
On the other
tips.
side of the coin, let's do one more. On the other side of the coin, Canadian Hunter asks, any spring bear tips from Dr. Randall? I'm guessing for first timers, if you would have any sort of intro to.
I need to listen here too.
I would say that you just need to have faith. I think you can stare at a hillside for a really long time and there's not a bear there, and then all of a sudden there's a bear there. And I think if you're used to glassing, like serious glassing, it's probably easier. But if you are not a glasser, just have all the patience in the world and know that the bears aren't going to be there right. Well, sometimes they are right when you start looking. I mean, you just got to keep your eyes open.
Yeah.
And
but I feel like it's a pretty casual glass, right?
Yeah.
It's not like you're having to pound.
No,
it
you're not going to. You're not going to pick them.
Deer.
Yeah, you're not going to pick out an ear or anything. But
right.
You could watch a whole hillside with a ton of little tiny pockets, and you look at them all, and you're like, "There's not a bear here." And then all of a sudden, there's one in that pocket.
Have you, something I've heard a lot about spring bear hunting, have you found it to be true that the evenings are best? Or just when you find them, you find them?
I feel like when you find them, especially earlier in the season. I mean, I've seen bears, like I've been out backpacking and like woken up in the morning and seen 2 or 3 bears in the morning, you know, and I feel like mid-afternoon you'll see them a lot of times. It's funny because I feel like that's the conventional wisdom, and you hear a lot of people that know a lot of stuff, people that know a lot about bear hunting will say that. But in my experience, at least, it's kind of a crapshoot. It's like the more time you're out there, the more likely you are to see a bear. But I definitely know like a lot of guys that, you know, nap through the afternoon and get out in the early evening.
I definitely feel like, and this is across many states where I've done spring bear hunting, but it seems like the evenings have been better. I mean, Southeast Alaska, there's no doubt about it that those last 2-3 hours are more productive.
Yeah. Or the tide.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's a big one too.
Yeah, I killed my bear up there at like probably 10 in the morning because we were just timing the tide.
Hunting low tide.
Yeah, because they're coming down on those rocks. But yeah, I don't know.
Corey, what do you got to say about spring bear? You love it.
Corey likes to hunt some spring bears.
Is this mic on?
It'll be on for the YouTube audience, but not for the podcast audience. So apologies to the podcast. Do you want to get on a different mic or something?
Lame.
No, I mean, no. The only ones I have on are the hosts.
Sorry, I screwed you up, Phil.
That's okay, Brody. You didn't know.
Just talk with your chest.
Love bear hunting. Now that I have a kid, and it's harder to bear hunt with a kid, turkey hunting's a lot easier. And until I'm old and can't pound the mountains anymore, I'll keep bear hunting. But when the day comes, I'll get more excited about turkey hunting.
Was that an underhanded insult to turkey hunting there? Or?
No, it's all personal.
Sure sounded like
personal opinion.
All right.
I mean, I will qualify what I said earlier. Like, I'm not trying to get up and be glassing at first light. Like, I'm not saying that.
It's hard when the sun goes down at 10 o'clock.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Like there's long evenings, but I do think like you're not wasting time if you're sitting there, you know, checking spots and just looking.
Yeah, I find it to be very casual hunting. Like bring a book, glance up from the book every 5-10 minutes, glass your hill. Because again, like you said, it's not like you're going to see a part of a bear. Usually, all of a sudden you look across the hillside and you're like, holy shit, there's a big old black spot that's walking.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what, I mean, I kind of like that about it because you can just sort of get out and watch the birds, like stare off into the distance, kind of stop thinking for about 10, 15 minutes. And then
listen
get back
to turkeys gobble.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, if that happened, buddy, I'd be out.
What tastes better?
Turkeys. I don't know. I like eating bears.
Come on now. You can find a turkey at a grocery store.
No, not the kind of turkeys I eat.
Yeah, you can't find the...
There ain't a bear nugget in the world that tastes as good as a turkey nugget.
Dude, right now I followed Jesse Griffiths' recipe from the turkey book for fried turkey. I started yesterday when I did a brine. His brine has pickle juice, whole lemon in there, and then the basics, you know, some salt and sugar, bay leaves. And then it's been that was for 4 or 6 hours, and then it's been sitting in buttermilk and hot sauce overnight. And then later tonight, I'm going to dredge those suckers in some seasoned flour. It'll be heavy on celery seed and black pepper. And I'm making some mashed potatoes. I might even do some gravy. I'm going to do some of those biscuits we talked about. Let's go, baby.
What time
Turkey
is that?
week.
What time is that? Tonight?
Yeah, it's for my brother-in-law's belated birthday. So we already have guests. Otherwise, I'd have you over for that. But they're coming. All right. Phil, I think it's time to move on to Kyle.
Yeah, Phil, how's the timing looking now?
It's looking perfect now.
Oh, fantastic.
Damn, we're good. Good job, Brody and Randall.
Thank you.
All right, we're on to Kyle Lybarger. Like I said earlier, man, this guy, I absolutely love his Instagram posts. Are you guys familiar? You guys follow Kyle? Like, I don't know. I had never been that interested in native plants and I guess pretty much mostly native plants is what Kyle talks about. But like when he puts it out there on the old gram, I'm like, hell yeah, That's awesome. That's great. And then how much of a fighter he is. What's the word I'm looking for? Not protester.
What would you call it, Kyle?
Advocate.
Yes, for these places that need, help. No one, they can't. The plants don't get to talk for themselves. So we need people like Kyle out there, helping keeping them around for future generations.
Kyle, really quick, your mic is muted right now. If you want to go ahead and unmute that.
I was just going to do all the talking for Kyle.
Yeah. Just look at his face.
Hey, as my friend says, I'm not a environmental extremist. I'm an extreme environmentalist. So maybe that's a better way to put it. But I honestly am more of a conservationist, and those plants. I used to be in the same boat. I'd walk right past them and never even notice them or pay any mind to them whatsoever. But when I was on a property, I guess back in like 2018, that just had a ton of wildlife, and I was like, what the heck's going on with this place? And I saw the color, man. It just a switch went off, and it all started to make sense why that's the habitat. And without that, you don't have wildlife.
So that's the switch that went off, is that you were there, you saw a pile of animals, and then you looked around and you went, "Oh my gosh, look at the habitat." Of course.
Yeah, you could hear the amount of insects there too, which is crazy. When you're in a place that's got a ton of diversity, there's going to be a ton of insects and a ton of birds because of that. And,
okay, hold on. That's the perfect segue. You used the word insects. In a recent Instagram post, you said everybody's heard the quote, "A cattle farmer is really a grass farmer," and then you said, "And a turkey hunter should be you said managing for insects, but should be like an insect farmer." So explain that for me.
Well, I mean, to me, it kind of puts it into more simplistic terms, but it's that's the foundation. If you want to have great cattle, you have to have great pastures, and you have to have healthy pastures. If you want to have great turkey populations, you need to have a lot of insects, because that's what the poults are eating, and you need to have a lot of seeds and a lot of other things as well, like and amphibians and salamanders. Down here, that's when turkeys are scratching around, they're eating a lot of salamanders. And snails and things like that you wouldn't even think about. This is something I guess I observed in one of Cal's posts. I guess it was a couple years ago. It may have been a photo he was sharing that somebody sent in to him, but he showed a turkey crop that had a bunch of that horsetail reed. Have y'all, those it's called horsetail. That's what I call it. I forget the scientific name, but it's got those little segments you can pull apart.
Hollow.
Yeah, it's hollow.
Yeah.
And it was this turkey crop was slap full of that stuff. And I just read about how Native Americans use that to glaze the inside of their pottery because it had high silica content. And I was like, I wonder if that silica that has to be beneficial for turkeys. And of course there was some research that somebody had done about feeding some feed to domestic turkeys that had higher silica content, having better survival rates in poults and stuff like that. So I thought that was pretty interesting. Even plants you wouldn't think of. I don't know. You can never really know what all a turkey's going to need, but if you just throw the whole buffet at them, they're going to have what they need most of the time. So.
Yeah. Why is it that we don't have? You're often talk about prairies and remnants of prairies and tell me why we don't have a lot of the prairies and then again why. I guess you've kind of been talking about why they're so beneficial, but specifically about the prairies.
Yeah, I mean, in the southeast here, our prairies were gone before the camera was even invented. So if you want to learn about the prairies that used to be here, you have to go way back to these historic surveys and writings. I read a lot of surveys that were done in the early 1800s. And a lot of times they're marking section corners and they can't even find trees close by. And so they're having to use stakes. And so, then that tells you that area used to be a prairie. But all of it in the southeast was turned into cotton fields. Pretty much all of it was, except for the rocky places and the areas that were too wet. And so now if you find a prairie remnant or remnant grassland, it's going to be in those rocky areas or where like a power line goes across a mountain or like a steep spot where there's not flat ground that you could plant crops on. So it was our dominant ecosystem in the Southeast, and people find that hard to believe, but that's also including things like longleaf ecosystems, which people think of as forests, but like 99% of the diversity in a longleaf ecosystem is in the understory, in that grassland that's underneath. So,
and longleaf being longleaf pine, correct?
Yeah, longleaf pine, and so we had shortleaf pine savannas and oak savannas, oak hickory savannas, but we also had glades and prairies and fens and bogs and just a whole array of ecosystems, and it was just a mosaic, just a mix of those different ecosystems across the Southeast.
Kyle, you've got some pictures, or you sent Phil some pictures, right, of some habitat work that you guys have been doing. When these pop up here, can you see those too? Walk us through a little bit of what we're looking at and what you would call that habitat type.
Yeah, so that's a glade or a barren, and just like you can see the power line up in the top right-hand corner. So that was a power line right away that kind of saved this prairie. That line of cedars you see in front of you, that used to be like an impenetrable wall of cedars, and so the only grassland stuff left was what was right there on the power line. Everything else had turned into a shaded out thicket of cedars, and so you lost all that biodiversity underneath, all that plant diversity, and then now we've opened it back up. You can see there's some openings in those woods now where we had some Mennonite loggers come in and remove some cedars. We reintroduced fire to it, and place is thriving now. So, yeah. Oh, that's a Nashville breadroot, which is pretty uncommon. It's really only found like around Nashville and in a few little spots in Alabama, and it grows on limestone. But you'll have, I think there's some breadroot out west. They had these huge tubers. That was like, it was a main food source for Native Americans. But that's
balsam root. Is that what the yellow ones?
There is
breadroot.
It's kind of like, it looks like lupine kind of, the leaves do. But there's one out west that everybody talks about. Maybe only in the botanical, like the botanist world, but people, that's the more common one. But this is that same glade, man, Alabama larkspur, that's only found in Alabama. And this is one of those places where there's just insects everywhere. It's incredible. It's like a time capsule.
And I'm sure the turkeys probably eat the plants, but they're there for the bugs, right?
Yeah.
Speak of the
insects. Devil. Yeah. That's my buddy Alan who bought one of these glades. So we got 24 acres next door that has federally endangered leafy prairie clover on it. He bought this population. I was just there was like 1,200 acres that came up for sale at once that had 7 of the 8 populations of leafy prairie clover in Alabama. So it was going to be split up into a million pieces, and I was trying to get everybody I could to buy a population of this, and he ended up with this glade, and it's a absolute incredible example of a limestone glade.
How many of those populations did you guys buy?
There's 6 that are being managed now. 6 of the 8.
Oh,
and
great.
2 years ago there were none of them were being managed, and so that leafy prairie clover that's on there is federally endangered, but there's just like a ton of other rare species that grow there too. So we're conserving a federally endangered plant, but also, hundreds of other plant species that are high conservation value. And then the benefits of that is there's a lot of wildlife there. There's still wild quail, and it's a great place for hunting and recreating. So
not just good for turkeys.
Yeah. It's good for people who like to look at plants too. So
right.
If that has any value in real estate.
It's hard to quantify.
All right, well, folks, you can find more about what Kyle's doing it's up on the screen there, but if you just listen, it's Kyle_Lybarger, and then there's also, it's just at Native Habitat Project on Instagram too, is that right?
Yeah, Native Habitat Project.
But go check it out. Like I said, even if you're not into plants, native plants, ecosystems, after you watch a couple of Kyle's posts, you will be. Any other questions, boys, you guys have for Kyle?
No, I'm good.
No, we just got to get you back on 1 minute fishing again here.
Hey, I had, that's what I was going to say before I left. I have to, this is going to sound like a fishing story, but as soon as y'all hung up, my first cast, it was within like 5 seconds. I caught the biggest crappie of the day. And,
that's what they all say, Kyle.
I know.
That's what they all say.
I knew you wouldn't believe me.
Hey, well, now that the ice is off, well, I'm guessing you didn't have any ice down there in Alabama, but now the ice is off, I'm sure we'll be doing more 1 minute fishing. So thanks again for stopping by, Kyle. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, thanks, y'all. See you.
Thanks, Kyle.
Okay, now we are on to a Turkey Week hot tip brought to you by none other than our... he's not our very own, but he's part of our family.
Friend
here.
of the program.
Yeah. Jesse Griffiths, Chef Jesse Griffiths, owner of Die Due. Let me know when you got that ready to play, Phil.
Well, we got important business to get to first.
Oh, which is what?
Turn your head and give cough. What's that face? Don't you scoff. There aren't many words that rhyme with off.
H-O-T-T-I-P-off. Let's all do a hot tip off. H-O-T-T-I-P-off. Let's all do a hot tip off.
Randall, your face there,
Oh, my goodness.
listening to that, like a kid in a
What a
candy
treat.
store.
Phil, when did you do that one?
Oh, it was a few weeks ago.
Oh, it's brilliant.
Yeah. I appreciate that.
Phil,
Thanks, Randall.
Phil is
You know who
brilliant.
doesn't like that one is our Brody and Steve because it's too modern. It's too pop.
Yeah, I think you've done better work.
Yeah. That's
Oh, yeah.
understandable.
Is that a...
I don't agree.
It's Chapel Roan.
that's
there.
what yeah.
yeah.
At first I was thinking it was like an 80s song, but no, that's just the vibe.
Dude, I got two girls, 11 and 13-year-old. I'm all in on pop right now. It's like if you can't beat them, join them kind of a thing. So, yeah, bring it.
They call that poptimism.
Okay.
That was an actual music journalism movement in like the mid-2000s. Sorry. Here's Jesse.
Jesse Griffiths.
All right, hot tip, making biscuits. You need to get your butter incorporated into your flour. Use a cheese grater. Doesn't have to be a broken cheese grater, but this one is broken. But it'll still work. And so you grate your butter into flour, a little bit of salt, some baking powder, and then it's already in the exact size pieces that you need to make the perfect biscuit, which goes great with fried turkey.
Love that guy.
Jesse Griffiths.
I got my own hot tip here.
Oh, please, add on.
Jesse Griffiths.
Hold on.
Oh, we're doing
Give you
two.
a hot tip
Surprise.
today. These are some beautiful fresh turkey tenderloins from a big old Rio that Yanni shot today. I'm going to remove these tendons from these nice tenderloins with a fork. So you get on the pointy end, just grip that tendon, come in with a fork, put the tines on either side, grip said tendon, and just pull it like this, and it'll pull the entire tendon out like that. If you're making stock, this is great addition stock because it's collagen, it'll convert over to gelatin. So save those up for your stock, and then you have a perfectly tendon-free tenderloin that you can now brine, dredge, and fry.
Do you still have something to add?
I do. You're making your morning toast and you realize that all the butter's in the fridge and it's too hard to spread well. You don't want to tear up that toast, especially if you're using cheap sandwich bread.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking, man, just leave his butter out on the
Well,
the counter.
sometimes you use all the counter butter the night before.
Okay, I'm tracking.
So if you find yourself in that situation, you get out the cheese grater and you grate your butter on your toast. That way you don't have to just tear up that beautiful Wonder Bread.
So you were already aware of this hot tip.
That was a hot tip just to show that I already knew that hot tip, which is the best kind of hot tip.
Brody, you're a biscuit maker, right? Mm-hmm. Or isn't it? It's a little bit of a pain in the butt to sit there with like a knife and
Or the thing you use to mash potatoes, whatever that thing is called, those.
Well,
Yeah.
I believe that thing. What is that
masher.
tool called? No, but it's not the one you use for mashed potatoes. There's one that actually is meant to cut butter into
Yeah.
flour.
Oh, yeah.
Pastry cutter, I believe. And but anyways, you still got to cut the butter up into pieces and then cut it into the flour. With this method here, it's small enough, thin enough that you don't have to do the cutting part anymore. Like you don't have to do the cutting into the flour. You can basically just start adding your wet ingredients and start doing the mixing.
Don't do what my son does, which is just melt the butter in a microwave and then pour it in.
No. That's like
I've done that on my toast before too.
Your butter or any fat that you're using. The other day I did half butter, half lard. It's got to be cold.
Mm-hmm.
If it gets all melty, you're just gonna. I don't even know what's gonna happen. Jesse could explain that. The other hot tip. I did that yesterday in preparation for making my fried turkey.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, does that work a lot better than trying to fillet that chunk of silver skin out of there with a knife. Way faster.
Yeah.
Do you guys have an opinion on which hot tip of Jesse's was better?
I've used the tenderloin one for a long time.
Oh, you already knew that one?
Mm.
Man, maybe everybody knows this
I'm going to
tip.
go with the butter and the cheese grater.
Yeah, if you want some badass biscuits, I think that's a...
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you guys and think that for Turkey Week, taking the silver skin out of those tenderloins with the fork is the better hot tip. But still, it's 2-1. So Jesse, you're a winner either way.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Nice tips. Thanks for doing those for me down there in Tejas. All right, that brings us to my logger. Love calling Wyatt my logger. Wyatt, what's happening?
How's it going, guys?
It's going great. Although you're the one, you're outside under bluebird skies, and we're in this stuffy podcast studio, but it looks nice there.
Yeah, man, I have no complaints today. Beautiful day, about 60 degrees here. Tail end of wintertime, that's about all you could ask for.
All right, bring us up to speed. This is a very selfish guest on my part. No one else really cares what Wyatt's doing up here.
Well, I will if you ever invite us to go hunting there.
You haven't been invited yet?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'll take care of that right after this show.
Okay. And the video might be kind of hit or miss with Wyatt as he moves through the property. So apologies to the YouTube audience. It might fluctuate a bit.
All right, we'll try to explain everything that we're seeing. But Wyatt's been up there logging my dad, my place now for, I don't know, since about September, October of last year. And where are we at right now, Wyatt?
Yeah, this one's been a bit of a process, but I'm going to flip you around here if I can. It doesn't look like I can. I'll turn you around like this. So I don't know what all you guys can see, but right down here,
wow,
we've done kind of a clear cut. This is the area that Yanni's going to be turning into kind of an oak savanna. And the way that we designed this property was not only for timber management, but also for wildlife habitat management. You can see down here, we kind of left a pocket of white oak trees. They're going to be left for mass crop and savanna purposes. And there's a couple different goals on this one. There's a small part of the property that's going to be kind of converted back into an oak savanna. We are managing for an oak forest, and then a young oak forest. And then I'm going to try not to move too fast here. But if you look behind me back here, we did leave kind of a mature stand of residual oak trees. How many acres is there, Yanni? 6?
Yeah, that ridge top's, depending on, where you demarcate it, it'd be 6 to 8 acres.
Yeah. And so what we've done here is we've pretty well impacted the majority of a 40-acre parcel. Like I said, with the intent to convert it back into better habitat and all the benefits that young forests bring.
All right, how is what we're looking at there? And just for folks that can see this, you can see the thicker forest in the background of that video. That's what that place looked like too, is a closed canopy, mixed upland oak forest. And now you can see we're letting a lot of sunlight hit the ground there. But tell us how that's going to be beneficial to turkeys.
Yeah, man. Young forest is great for a lot of different types of animals, especially in this area. This area used to be really heavily impacted by fire. There was kind of always constant young forest happening, constant regeneration happening. That doesn't happen quite so much anymore. So species like turkey, the rough grouse, deer, non-game species, they all rely on not only mature forest, but also that young forest type. When you're talking about turkey specifically, I mean, what we're doing here, as you can see behind me, we've got the mature stand. You know, those trees are going to be left for mass crop producers. They're going to be left for roosting trees. And then as you transition into this oak savanna, we're going to have an edge here that's going to be great for nesting and brooding. And then when you get out into that clear cut area in the savanna area, now I'm not a savanna expert, but the interesting thing about converting things back to savanna is you not only get the use of the trees, but there's also a lot going on the ground with the forbs and the plants and everything. You're going to create a lot more insects, a lot more food for the turkeys. You get an open area like that. Turkeys love to strut out in those open areas, roost up in the trees where they can see something, you know, from that savanna.
Yeah, it's interesting. You sent me some a little publication from, I think it was the 60s or maybe even the late 50s yesterday, and it said that at a time that was like one of Wisconsin, at least in the southern half of Wisconsin, oak savannas were one of the dominant landscapes, and now it's one of the hardest to find landscapes in Wisconsin.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Savannah, or, you know, southern Wisconsin was definitely dominated by savanna at one time, mainly because of that fire aspect that we're missing now. And with the lack of the fire on the landscape and everything else that's changed that humans have brought, you know, different invasive species and things like that, that's kind of gone away. And a lot of that is transitioning into kind of a more of a maple forest, which is fine, but it's just not what was here before we got here.
Well, I'm planning on bringing back the fire too, so hopefully we can continue, you know, make more savanna. Any questions, boys?
Have you seen any turkeys while you're out there?
Yeah.
You got a little scouting report for Janis here?
Yeah, there's turkeys everywhere. They seem to be a little bit more skittish. They
Don't
seem
make
to be
it
a little
sound
bit
too good.
They seem to be a little bit more skittish with the logging operation than the deer are. But they're definitely utilizing the areas around here. There's a lot of roosting happening right behind me. To the south a little ways, there's some travel corridors they've been using. They're curious. They're just not sure about it yet since we're still working in here.
Buddy.
That's intriguing.
Yeah, about 30 days, I'll be sitting right where Wyatt's at right there, listening to one of them gobblers, I hope.
I hope you put him to work while he's up there.
Yeah. We're working on finishing this project up, so it should settle down just in time for turkey hunting for you.
Yeah, Wyatt's hoping to not be there by the time I get there. But if he is, then yeah, I'm going to jump in the dozer and work with him. Wyatt, thanks for taking a break from your day, man, and giving me an update. Hopefully everybody else here enjoyed that as well. Enjoy the nice day. Put on some sunscreen. Don't get burned.
I appreciate you guys having me. Brody, Dr. Randall, good talking to you.
Thanks.
Nice meeting you.
Well, now what you guys have all been waiting for.
Oh, yes.
The photo contest.
This is exciting.
It is exciting. We had over 200 submissions.
That's great. Thanks, everyone.
Yeah.
Do we have a jingle for
We
this?
appreciate it.
I don't have a jingle for this, no.
I'll work on one for
You
next
want to
year.
just sing something freestyle?
It's okay. Something involving turkey.
It's a photo contest. The most contested photos.
You were singing some Kelly Clarkson earlier. Is it Since You've Been Gobbling?
Oh yeah,
that's
good.
That's all I got. I'm sorry. Listen.
No. We'll work on it.
We'll work on it.
We got 12 months.
Hey,
Thank you.
I mean,
12 months.
with just 30 seconds to whip something up.
That might have been my best one yet.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. So we had over 200 submissions. Appreciate you all doing that. Corey says that we had pregnant wives / girlfriends with their birds and belly bumps. He didn't think they were that impressive, though. He did not share those with us. So we didn't. So if that was one of yours, I'm sorry.
Everybody's getting put on the spot.
That did not make it to the top 20. But we saw a bunch of cool photos. A lot of kids with parents, kids with dead birds, big smiling faces, which I love. This brings up something that I've been working on. If you want a reminder of how to be in the moment, because, you know, we all tell anybody that's been a parent for more than 10 years. As soon as you meet somebody that's got like a newborn or like you can't help yourself but to be like, man, listen here. This shit's going to go by so fast. You have to figure out a way to like relish every moment, stay in the moment, right? It's so hard to do. Recently I had to find baby pictures and sort of like show a album of my oldest daughter from 0 to 13 that they're going to use in a slideshow for 8th grade graduation. With iPhone, and I'm sure with the other phones now, you can literally just go to your photos and put in someone's name, and then every single picture with that person or most of them pop up. And man, you want to talk about a good way to draw out some tears? Just do that with your kids and then scroll all the way to the bottom and just start scrolling through there. It draws out some tears, but it's a reminder because you're like, well, damn, don't get to have that moment again when they were all little and young and cuddly. But it reminds you to then hopefully that night at dinner, get off the phone and stay in the moment and, be with your kids because it's fleeting. All right, that's all I got to say about that. But yeah, you can't help yourself, right, Brody?
Yeah, man.
When you get to be our age and you got kids that are past 10.
Well, I mean, you're in the same boat. Like my older kid is 13 now, going on, he'll be 14 early fall. Like it's sinking in. It's like, holy shit. Only a few years left to hang out. I mean, we'll hang out obviously when he's older, but
not like you have been.
Right. So I'm all about like hunting and fishing with them.
All right, hopefully that didn't bring anybody down, but as a reminder, stay in the moment with your family and your kids. If you need a way to help yourself do that, just go into your iPhone photos and look at all the pictures of your kids when they were little. Back to the photo contest. We had 20. Corey had 20 good ones for us. We narrowed it down to 3, and we're going to now ask the live audience to help us pick who should be 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, before we look at these pictures, for the very first time, we are going to be polling the live chat of the YouTube live audience right now. So after we look at these top 3 pictures, I will put up a poll between photos number 1, 2, and 3, and you are going to decide the winner.
Phil is digging into his toolbox here.
That's right.
I already picked the winner, and if you guys don't agree with me, I don't know what we're going to do.
All right, are we ready for this?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, let's bring up photo number 1 here.
Yeah, remember,
I'm showing off one of the prizes here.
The winner.
Oh, yeah, let's get that.
Everybody's a winner here. The top 3 are winners, but the winner gets a First Light tree line turkey vest. I was wearing one of those when I shot my Texas Rio the other day.
I was wearing this one earlier, which is why all the straps are stretched out.
They get this bad boy too, right?
Yep. They get a Moultrie Edge 2 cell camera, which I've been using for a couple of years now. Love those cameras. And what else we got? Some calls, right? Some Phelps calls, Corey. You're throwing in a bunch of calls.
That very one right there.
Runner up is going to get. Help me out, Corey. What's runner up get?
Some
more calls.
Phelps calls and their choice of a shirt or a hoodie.
Okay,
and we got some cool new logo wear on our website.
And third place gets
a shirt or a hoodie.
Can't beat that. Everybody's a winner. All right, so the first picture, Phil had it up there for a second. Let's come back to it, Phil. Sent in from Jacob Zetterman. It's a pretty picture, composed well.
Pretty gun.
Pretty gun.
Unbelievably
nice
gorgeous.
long rope.
And remember, friends out there in the audience, you're voting on this, so take a good hard look.
Well, you like this one because...
Oh, yeah, because of the caption. Is it in here?
Yeah. It is.
The caption is in here. It was in the email that came with this photograph. And Jacob's caption reads, "Tell Steve switching from flintlock to percussion is a little bitch move." Actually,
that's not what Jacob said.
Jacob didn't say LB. He just said wuss. He said, "Tell Steve switching from flintlock to percussion is a wuss move." There you go, Steve. I hope you're listening and you hear that you're just going to be a little baby from here on out with your new muzzle loader. All right, number 2.
Happy Halloween.
This is Ed Snell with a fall bird.
Come on, Phil. Can you zoom in there a little bit?
I can't.
Oh,
no.
man.
Hold on. Maybe I can, but
What popped out to me when I first saw this picture was a couple things. Ed, and this is before we read Ed's email. One, he remembered his hearing protection, which
And
is
nothing
great.
else.
Yeah, for the listeners who
boots
don't
on.
have the benefit of YouTube, the photo shows a man standing on the little walkway next to his house. He's wearing extra tufts, a headset of hearing protection, and a pair of boxer shorts.
Mm-hmm.
And he holds a turkey, and he has a shotgun slung over his shoulder.
Is there anything in his left hand?
it doesn't look like it. It's a clenched fist. It looks like to me.
He's
just
got a clenched
excited.
fist for excitement. Yeah, but even before we read Ed's caption, I was like, "Man, looks like he got a hen." And Brody said, "Well, yeah, look at the pumpkin. It was a fall hunt." Ed's caption read, "I woke up to a flock of birds in my yard, grabbed the shotgun, and knew I was going to be shooting, so I grabbed ear protection too. Didn't bother with the pants though." We're giving a lot of weight to the good captions.
Yes.
Good stories are good.
Hell yeah. All right. Photo number 3 came in from Austin McDaniel.
Another good story.
And for our listeners, the photo shows 2 men behind a bird with a bow, and behind them is a billboard for Cafe Risqué.
Yeah, so if any of you listeners have been to Cafe Risqué at exit 374 in some unknown state,
no,
you're about to figure out a good turkey hunt
it's
spot.
24/7.
It's not going to be unknown because Austin wrote, "We killed this bird in Florida, 200 yards from this sign."
There you go. We just did a big spot burn
Yeah,
there.
I apologize for reading that caption, but man, if you're in Florida right now and struggling, there you go. Figure out where exit 374 and
I found their
Cafe-
Instagram. 33 plus years of family-owned adult diner entertainment.
An adult diner.
Wow, I've never heard of an adult diner.
And then you could just say, "I'm going to my turkey spot," you know. I'll be there all weekend.
Oh, let's not digress too much. Okay, Phil, how much time do we need to give everybody to vote?
Let's give people a couple minutes. I'm going to put the poll up
okay.
now, folks.
Democracy in action here. The voice of the people will speak.
Like I said, I already know who won. And if you guys disagree, you don't know what a good turkey photo is. Should we do a little listener feedback?
Sure, yeah. I'll do some
waiting?
listener feedback while the poll. That's a great idea, Janis. Look at that hosting.
Yeah.
Hey, I could also pitch the new television program that we have coming out today at some point.
Oh, yeah. No,
Premiere.
absolutely. Do that right now.
Okay. You may have heard, you may have not. We got a new program out. It's going to be out today at some point. I wish I knew what time. Probably soon here.
They call that
It's live.
It's live? Sheesh.
So as soon
How
as
many
this
people
wraps
have
up,
watched it?
you got something to do.
It's called MeatEater Roasts. Yours truly hosted it.
1,000 people.
1,000 people have already viewed it, which means they must be digging it. It's a little cooking competition show. We have a little process here within MeatEater where colleagues, employees submit ideas, and there's been a lot of ideas submitted for some sort of cooking competition show. A lot of different versions, but we came up with this one. Originally, it was supposed to be roast, as in I was as the host and the judges. We're just going to be roasting and just cutting down the people that are trying to cook the whole time. We've been doing that, but I'd say very lightheartedly. But we basically have 2 people, just normal cooks. Brody has been a contestant. Randall's been a contestant.
Just
and
a
both
normal cook.
Yeah, you guys are just normal dudes that just
Yeah, that's
cook
in
wild game.
the intro of the show, you say ordinary cooks.
Yeah.
I took a little bit of offense at that.
What kind of a cook?
I did not.
What kind of a cook would you describe yourself as?
I like everyday better than ordinary.
Every
Ordinary
day.
just sounds so
Brody's
ordinary.
worked on cookbooks.
Noted. No, that's a better choice of words. I agree. Every day. Everyday cooks. And we make them cook against each other, limited amount of time, and they don't know what protein, what chunk of wild game they're cooking until I reveal it in front of them in the show. I didn't, right? We didn't cheat on that, right? You didn't know what you were cooking.
No.
Then we have a couple of judges who are mostly a little bit more experienced than the everyday cooks that are doing the cooking. And as they cook, the judges help them, roast them, make some jokes, give us some banter. And at the end, we judge the dishes, rate them, pick a winner, give some money to conservation because we like to do that. Mm-hmm. And I've been loving hosting it because it's really spurred me out of my normal sphere of what I always cook at home when it comes to Wild Game. Mm-hmm. Like I did Corinne's. I don't want to give away too much, but I cooked what Corinne cooked. I've cooked what Spencer cooked.
What about me?
What else? Well, I cook pot roasts often, and so I didn't remake.
Yeah,
I
didn't rekindle a love or a new outlook on the possibilities of a pot roast.
You guys are giving too much away here.
Phil, can we bleep all that out?
Anyways, the first episode is live now. It is Brody cooking versus Ryan Callahan, and for judges, we have Jesse Griffiths and Steven Ranella. And those boys were harsh. They out of the 5 episodes that we
Jesse was harsh, but he was also helpful. Steve was just harsh.
Yeah, it's funny. I don't really associate Steve with being judgmental in any way.
Oh, never.
But they did what we asked of them, and I think the episode came together nicely. I hope that all of you can watch it.
Ed is in the chat.
Ed is in
Boxer
the chat.
Shorts Ed is in the chat.
Ed is in the chat.
Ed, you made our day today. Thank you.
Jacob and Austin, you're really missing out on this opportunity. If you're in the chat, show yourselves. Because right now, it's the spread's getting wider. But we've got, actually, before we even say anything about the photo contest, let's get a vote from the crew. You guys.
Oh, yeah.
Your votes do not matter, but just an opinion. Would you guys like number 1 from Jacob, number 2 from Ed, or number 3 from Austin?
Randall?
Oh, man. Ed's photo brought a big smile to my face. I like the Cafe Risqué. You know, I like...
you like going to adult
billboards?
Diners?
No, billboards. But, Ed's smile really delighted me.
Yeah, I like that purdy picture of that musket and that turkey. That's a great photo. But I like Ed. He's great, man. I'd love to be living in that house and see a flock of turkeys in the backyard and jump out there and shoot one.
Yeah.
I was thinking you were going to say you'd love to be Ed's neighbor. And then see Ed jump out in that outfit
I could
and go
picture
shoot a
myself
turkey.
doing the exact same. It's very relatable.
One of the members of the chat just suggests that we should give Ed 2nd or 3rd place so he gets a shirt.
That's witty.
Or he can just go shirtless with the vest.
Yeah. Listen, I'm voting for Ed, man. I think that dude's got balls.
All right. I'm going to give the chat 30 more seconds, then I'm ending the poll.
Who are you voting for, Phil?
I mean, it's all due respect to Ed. Incredible picture. I like how classy number 1 is, and I like the Cafe Risqué billboard in number 3. Those are my 2 picks.
I tell you what, they're cutting into my pizza time right now, Phil. Let's go.
Okay, 15 more seconds. 15 more seconds because it's kind of close. So these last few seconds could.
If you're not going for
poll.
Ed, something's wrong with you.
That would be me.
Weighing our...
Sorry, Ed. I'm sure you're a good guy. All right. Let's give him 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I am ending the poll. In 3rd place, with 15% of the vote, we have photo number 3, Austin McDaniel, the Cafe Risqué billboard.
Congratulations, Austin.
Good showing, Austin.
There's someone driving to that turkey.
I was going to say, he burned his spot for 3rd place. That's tough.
Yeah. And now I'm going to announce the first place winner with 43% of the vote.
That's tight.
We have Ed Snell.
Yeah.
Snell, yeah.
Send us a picture with some clothes on next time.
And that makes with 40% of the vote, Jacob, you got 2nd place.
He'll get a little coverage out of that vest. That'll work for
Very, very close. Very close.
Very close.
Ed, thanks for submitting your photo, and thanks for being here with us. What a true pleasure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I have it in me to send in a photo anywhere with just my boxer shorts. Would you do that? To have it publicly displayed?
For a free
Yeah,
First Light
I'd
turkey
do
hunt
that.
vest, I would.
Oh, you would for a free vest?
I come on here and make a buffoon of myself every week, Janis. I don't know why showing a little skin is such a hang-up.
All right.
Maybe that's a new segment.
Last but not least, thanks again, Ed. Last but not least, we have the MeatEater turkey calling contest ongoing. And today it is yours truly versus Tony Peterson. And is Tony just on his pot call again? You've watched his video. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, pot and mouth call.
That's the one you said
he's
was,
running both. Okay.
Man, the pot call's the one you said was for beginners, right?
And you may want to see the.
Oh, right now, Tony is ahead 57% to my 42%. Hey, listen, if that's what the people think that his calls sound better, they might. I just feel like I did all of mine with the mouth call.
Yeah.
I like to make it hard on myself.
I feel like that's in the spirit of the competition.
Yeah.
Winner's got to play Clay Newcomb.
Get in there and support Janis.
Yeah, and then support us Yankees, whether it's Peterson, myself, who else is left? I don't know.
That's it.
But yeah.
Dropping like flies.
Clay's over there calling on the top of a mule. I don't understand that, except that I guess that just novelty gets votes. But maybe that'll work. But yeah, I say let's knock Clay off of his high mule
horse.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
better.
and yeah, it'd be good for a new champion. Anything else to add this week, boys?
Phil, we got any last-minute gems in the chat?
Yeah, I know Janis is itching to get some turkey. Let's do a rapid-fire turkey tip. So you ready for this? Ooh. Well, actually, first, Mogor piped in and said wild turkey in Hungarian is vad puljaka. I hope he didn't tell me to, like, F my mom or something like that. So, I'm
Thanks,
trusting
Mogor.
you, Mogor. You seem like a nice guy. Number one, rapid fire. What's the best state for public land turkey hunting opportunities?
Next question.
Throw a dart at the map.
Yeah, man, there's turkeys literally in all of the states in the lower 48. So pick one that has a lot of public land. You'll probably get good turkey hunting on public.
Top 3 snack for a long turkey sit.
Oh, man. PB&J, jerky.
I like to have a little fried chicken in my backpack, which isn't really a snack, but it's good.
Oh, yeah.
I think fried chicken's a
snacks
snack.
And, snacks and food and
Yeah.
meals, it's kind of all the same to me when I'm packing my turkey vest. So I'd rather have more than less.
Yep.
Who's going to kill a turkey first this year?
I already killed one.
Oh.
I think, I think you were the first on the crew this year, right?
Might have been.
Between you and Seth. Seth was in Florida.
Oh, that's
Same
true.
time.
Yeah.
We'll have to check those time codes.
Yeah.
Any turkey tips for closing the gap?
Run.
Be sneaky or stay where you are.
Yeah, just real quiet calling. That's what I've found. That is when you think he can't hear you, he can hear you.
Decoy or no decoy?
No decoy for me.
I've never killed one over a decoy.
Is that right?
Carry them around, but
This is very. I know we're trying to do this real fast, Phil, but this is just for if I'm going out personally hunting by myself. I'm gonna go with no decoys.
I feel like if you do it right, you can set up in a spot. If the terrain allows, you can set up in a spot where you don't need one.
Oh, 100%.
No.
And then in the back in the east, it doesn't even have to be terrain. It's vegetation. Right? You just have to set it up so that the turkey has to come see you
in your range.
And in range.
Yeah.
Right? But again, we hunt western stuff a lot. If you're hunting fields, the decoys can be deadly. And
Yeah.
and if I'm guiding, whether it's, friends, family, kids, whatever, I might be doing that.
Yeah, and I mean, you start talking about super realistic decoys like these, they can definitely get a turkey in the range when they wouldn't have come otherwise.
Oh yeah, and you get to see the whole show and all that. But I just like to, again, I like the challenge of calling one in. I like to make it hard.
Okay, last one. Is pineapple acceptable on pizza?
Yes.
Hell
No.
yeah. Hell yeah.
No.
Speaking of which,
let's go eat some pizza. Thank you all for listening,
Thanks,
watching
gang.
Meat Eater Radio Live this week. Again, just one last reminder, go to themeateater.com, see what we got going on there. There's all kinds of great content this week. Get you fired up for turkey season.
Hell of a show, Phil.
Congrats, Ed.